Oh hey, didn't see you there. Have you ever been in one of those situations where someone in a high school wants to murder you? I have, but let me tell you, I came down with a bad case of brilliant recently, where I discovered something. It's called the weekend. You don't have to go to school on the weekend. You know, I think I figured out why Garfield hates Mondays. Saiko no Sutoka is a horror game that follows a storyline in each different mode that it has, where you, the player, at some point broke up with this totally well-adjusted girl, and is now doing all the quirky post-breakup things like trying to tag me in memes and third-degree homicide. Did that sound right? I'm not sure. It's kind of hard for me to get mentally into this role. I don't know what a girl is. They know what memes are, right? The game's first alpha was dropped in September 6, 2020. It's been getting pretty good reception ever since then. Normally I look at critical reviews, but those seem to be somewhat few and far between with the nature of the game being an alpha and it being unfinished. So let's actually look at the reviews on Steam, where the main premise is an anime girl that's hunting you down. Yep. Yeah? I'm getting the feeling that this was a mistake. Yeah, honestly expecting anything different was kind of my own problem, so I should just try it for myself. However, I do not own a Steam, nor do I know what it is, but I do have a Sega Genesis and a copy of Finny the Fish, so let me just put this here, put it here, press power. Now it's important that there are no cords plugged in and it's upside down. It worked! The tone for this game is set really quickly, where we see Saiko here holding a knife, but we got our usual suspects here of play, story, settings, and exit. Okay. The premise is you are being chased around by a crazy anime girl who is technically a Yandere, which is a girl that's so in love with you that she becomes murderous. The most prominent example of that was Yuno from Future Diary. The story option actually just shows you the endings for each mode that you can get, but you can only see them when you unlock them, so this kind of serves as a checklist of sorts to make sure you're getting everything. But here are the modes where you get those endings. Now initially these actually just look like their difficulty settings, but for the most part they're different experiences with different mechanics as a whole. We got Yandere, we got Yangary, we got Yangary, where the person legally changes her name to Gary. Let's start with Yandere, which is more or less the earliest point in the game. I think in the story you're just looking for your friend who you convinced to break up with this girl, and guess who is there to help you look for him? The IRS. There are two endings, which neither are what we would call good. Both of them end with age restriction, and not the Honey Pop 2 kind of age restriction. If you trust her, it does seem a bit more brutal, so I guess the harder ending to get where you almost escape is better. Still, really f***ed up though. You can either follow her to the place that she leads you to, which ends with a trap that gives you the big old kill, or you can try to give her the slip and try to escape from the school. This more or less seems like a tutorial that keeps something still hidden. Like when you piss her off, she plays a lot less games with you than in the later, scarier looking modes. So I guess I bought Scrabble for nothing. I think it's an actual good tutorial round though, because there's no real danger until there is, you know, actual danger. But we got other modes to look at, starting with normal mode, which is the game's first, well, normal mode, where we get to see what more or less becomes a standard gameplay loop, which is admittedly simple on the surface. Their goal is to escape the school through the exit key in the headmaster's safe. While the loop seems easy enough, the cover character Saiko is genuinely terrifying. Saiko is a pretty smart AI that I wouldn't mind if more polished, becoming a more standard for these types of no fight only flight games. She knows how to switch how she comes off to try to be innocent and apologetic, which can be actually helpful, letting you out of rooms and stuff, but she can also use that to trick you. Not only that, but she doesn't just chase the player. If she knows where you're going, instead of chasing you in a loop, she will hide and wait where she thinks you're going. It genuinely puts you on edge throughout the game because you never know where she's going to be next. Though that's made me nervous in my daily life because I have no idea where she is. Wait a second. No, she's not in there. Okay, we're good. Though that doesn't change the fact that the gameplay is kinda just finding a key, going to a room, finding another key, and so on and so forth. I think Saiko's AI certainly helps when it comes to variety because of the mass amount of stuff she can do, like asking you for your helpful items to prevent her from becoming more aggressive, or does things at a time that I didn't think her AI would think to do. She took me to McDonald's one time, that was pretty cool. While exploring, you can find things to help you, like items that can heal HP or avoid possible issues, like shoes that help prevent you from taking damage that comes from the glass on the floor. So even when you have a key in your hand, it may be beneficial to keep looking around before you move on to that room, But speaking of keys, why can I only carry one of them at a time? Oh thank god, here's the janitor closet key. These aren't large keys or anything like that, and there's no in-universe reason why he can only carry one. I mean, he probably still has pockets, and even if he didn't, he can like, I don't know, maybe carry 2 keys? I've done it before, so I know it's possible. It doesn't seem like the biggest issue in the world, but everything else in this game feels so airtight, but I don't know, it's odd that this stands out so much. Not like you ever need to have too many keys at one time, but it'd be helpful. I know you're trying to kill me, but is there any chance you have a key ring? Because it's getting annoying having to swap out my keychain every time I get a new key. This mode has 3 endings, one where you get the big dead, and there are 2 where you actually escape leaving Saiko to be sad, or the other ending where you escape and she dies, which, based on the nightmare mode model, seems to be the canon one. I'm starting to think I should just focus on showing an anime again. The same set of endings are in hard mode, where the only difference is in gameplay, Saiko hits a bit harder. Last mode for now until nightmare mode comes out is called Yandere mode, which Yandere means someone who snaps suddenly. There's more to it than that, but gameplay time. Saiko is a lot more aggressive in this one, and everything's just so much more, you know, scary. In my horror game? No! It's the same gameplay loop except with a more monstrous enemy, and everything is just a lot creepier. You can perform an Easter egg that makes the game much harder by having 2 enemies chase you, and they do have their own unique endings, but I'd rather not do that specifically if it's all the same to you. Saiko is a lot more aggressive, but that by no means simplifies her AI. She's just a lot stronger to a superhuman degree. Though you do have tools at your disposal that can help, like a journal that will freeze her in place for up to 5 seconds, and it does help a lot, especially when you're cornered. You will not believe the day I had, and I will tell you all about it! But even the best designed horror games need to manage to scare you. No matter how tight a horror experience is, if the thing that's trying to create fear in you isn't scary, it's not gonna work. If the Grimace was chasing you in Silent Hill, it would lose. Actually, no, that'd be a lot more terrifying. But while an anime girl can be scary or a good horror icon, Saiko is presented in a way that would make her more than just scary because we were told to be scared of them. Does this picture scare you? Not really. Can you do me a favor and be scared of it? Sure. Saiko works as an enemy in this game because we feel the same about her as the main character. She should be an unsuspecting fine person, but we know she's capable of horrific things and she's cunning, but is also willing to help at times. We know she's dangerous, but everything else about her is left in the air. And her vocal performance is perfect for this. It's a creepy, almost whisper that carries a chill with it. Saiko no Sutoka is a genuinely interesting game that, while appearance-wise it looks pretty rough around the edges with overall aesthetic, this game is so effective as a horror game that it can suck you in, and it's not afraid at all to go as far as it wants to scare you. And the AI felt so clever that was just an experience all on its own. I mean, I would say that it's worth the $5 that it goes for on Steam, but we gotta look at the other stuff that goes for $5. Yeah, I would say this game is more enjoyable than Sheet Grippers.